Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm your host, Stephen Topham at the third, at your service. Now we're going to talk about this seriously because a lot of people are starting to be self-aware about everything that's unfolding from all the books, the TV shows, and everything else. But there's a little catch. Now you're wondering where I fit all in this. I said, yeah, well, it's all to do with Wild Northwesters timeline. Now, why is that? You've got season 4 and 5. Why is that? Easy enough to explain this, right? You've got season 4 and 5, and you've basically got the modern years and the specials. Why? Because it's connected to me, right? You have to realise the North Norfolk Railway are a bunch of what you call immatures. They don't know what they're doing. They're Tom, Dick, and Harry. The management don't know what they're doing, right? We all talk about how it runs, how the hats run down the line, and how it gets connected. We all knew it was from the father, the son becomes the father. We all know that from the day one, right? So work it out. It goes from the top to the bottom. Easy vice versa. Easy enough. It's been told in the Superman movies quite well, and it's acknowledging you that you got this problem and that problem, and you got this problem and you got this problem. I said, look, stop going to the North Norfolk Railway. It's not going to be your helpfulness. They're not going to help you directly. All they care about is this. When you think about the money situation, the people that don't pay attention or they're not listening or they don't want care or they don't feel like it's a hoax, joke, whatever. I said it isn't a hoax or a joke. It's real life. Get real, right? You're gonna start thinking and start realizing they bribed you, they fucked you up. Right, let's take it from the customer's point of view, right? They've been fucked, right? By by the actual problem, right? The customers are so badly rude at the moment. It's like being very cocky, rude, selfish, and telling them to piss off because the management didn't do a favour for them, right? The management are corrupt, evil, selfish, greedy so and so's that they don't want to know, right? Their motives and their actions are all part of this little charade, right? They think they're winning. They think they control the manipulative bunch of what you call see you next Tuesdays. I said, look at what's unfolding in front of you, right? You just had Boko on the line, right, with no Bill and Ben. Where's Bill and Ben? Doesn't add up, does it, when you put the two pieces together? I said it takes one to know one. So when it comes to my grandfather, my father, and myself, we all have to do the same pattern. We have to keep doing it. We have to keep you motivated. We have to keep you understanding there is no joke to that bloody Thomas the Tank books. Even the TV show, Mattel fucked up. That is definitely true. They screwed you up and they fucked you up. Because why? Because private connection I have fixed the fucking problem before you screwed it up. So work it out. You gotta go. You gotta watch. You got to say, look, my private connection knows everything that's supposed to unfold. So work it out. All my private connections, all my family, friends, colleagues, etc. They all know this story. They don't have to watch my channel all the time because they don't have to because they know what's unfolding, right? They're laughing at the management. They're laughing at their expense. Why? Right? When people think I'm bullshitting, I'm not a bullshitter. Right? I'm putting you on a silver plate and tell you this is what's happening. This is how you deal with it. Get rid of the bad management in that North Norfolk Railway. You're not going to move forward until you get rid of them. Why? Because they lied, they've been deceitful, they've been untrustworthy, they've been a liar's pants on fires, and they just they're giving you everything You don't need at the moment. I see you want to go on that road. I see you want to travel from A to B. I see people now taking buses because say, fuck the railway, go on buses. Right? I tell you, Bertie will pick you up and take you there. Anywhere you want to go. Even Bolgy will. Why? Because I'm using them as a substitute to tell you the North Norfolk Railway is unfit. Why? Why are they Wales and Ales? Because they so bloody badly want money in their pockets. Right? When you think of the railway, bad railway makes a bad management, right? It's not the people that go on it. It's like people are now taking a new route to safeguard themselves. Why? Right, let me give you an example. Did I tell you, and I warned you so many times, history has a habit of repeating itself, and it isn't a joke, right? Right? About 12:41, right, at night, somebody got killed on Station Road. Why is that? A brief reminder of what happened in 1968, 1969 issue. And it was all to do, just a reminder, ding ding. Who does that remind you of? If somebody got killed at 12:41, there must be a clue in the puzzle piece, right? You are timing yourselves really well to screw up everything, but at the same time, the North Norfolk Railway wasn't responsible for that, but they don't see the events unfold because it's in their sleeping hours. Just think about it like that, on a logical note that not all the story gets told during the day. It gets told at night, it gets told in the pubs, it gets told everywhere. Why? Because it's unfolding correctly. Why? Then the diesel team and all the management are going to say, fuck this railway, I'm leaving. Right? They're going to hand over the keys. Right? I don't need the keys because I've got one. Bingo. Right? Those keys are going to support me. Why? They can't get it in their heads to realise, why is he our boss? Think about it logically. There's a lot of actions that you're doing wrong, Diesel team. Doesn't matter if it's Hugh Harkett, Joe Mudden, and and her husband, or whatever, vice versa, and Daisy on top, and all of those others. I said they all screwing up. Big time effort here. Bad time effort, right? You see the stories unfold, but then in the end of the day, you screwed themselves over because they put themselves in a load of shit, right? My grandfather had to do all this, my father's doing this, and now I'm doing all of this. Three people, but we've got two more to go. Why is that? Oh, the answer's in the clear, isn't it? Right? You've got to be realistic that the management does not give a shit. Right? You got that big, big shit over your shoulders, right? It's not gonna change for you. It's unfolding for you to see it with your own eyes and ears and see how much they screwed up. Bulgy and Bertie are doing overtime work, taking you to the places you need to go to every day, every night, whatever. But in the day, what happens when they realise that the diesel team at the North Norfolk Railway screwed up? They report back to me. So I had Bertie, I had Bulgy, all told me the same pattern and said, the diesel team are not doing well, and they're screwing you over. Bang, 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 bang. What happens? They will say the first thing that the diesels will do is find the big boss. They can't find the big boss anymore, right? This big boss doesn't exist anymore because it was too out of date, right? You've got to realise third gen Stephen Topham Hatt the third, who is really reliable, really useful, and everything else has been set up, been done at. The whole community knows I'm innocent, so we rule out the setup. We knew it was a setup. The cops would just say, "Oh, you can still go on the platform." I said, "Screw that. Because I'll tell you, you've been lied, right? I took all the three little statements they put on that paper, and I acknowledged every one of them, right? Right? I told you I'm not guilty, right? Because everybody knows I'm innocent. There's two, there's 8 billion people that know I'm innocent. Why? You've got to work it out in your mind and work it out in your head and work it out in your strengths and pride. Why did you screw? Let's say the Norfolk where they screwed up so bloody badly they can't unfold the story correctly. Every day we're going to have this pattern. Why? It's a time loop. When the time loop is telling you the same thing, it pisses people off. And when the community gets pissed off, then they're standing up. Why? Because they don't want to see something bad happen. So work it out. My family, myself, we're working overtime to try and correct this problem because it's so little. It's very delicate, very, very calming and preserving work. It's not a paperwork job. No, it's all it is. It's eyes and ears. Right? All you're getting is the actual podcast of me and you acknowledging it, but you also have to be realistic that all the railways all around the globe in the UK are getting screwed up because of the diesel team's dirty work. So, what happened when you have certain people from everywhere around the globe realizing you are in the wrong? You are in the wrong. Why? The first things first you need to worry about is that the stories are unfolding in truth, but their timelines are screwed up. Think about it. I'm untangling them like a little thread, if you will. And every time I take a little thread, I'm fixing everything. Why? Every time I'm doing this, I know everything you've been up to. The North Norfolk Railway aren't innocent. They're not. They're guilty for messing up something that should unfold naturally. So what do? They think they're all innocent? No, they're guilty because they are guilty because they did this, they did that, they done that. Tom, Dick, and Harry job. Right? In the end of the day, people said, "Look at those dirty objects up there." As example, right? I'm not going to go into complete detail of this one, but dirty objects. Now, a lot of you might think, why's dirty objects got to do with it? I said there's a lot more to the diesel team they screwing up, right? Hoo-ha kit's a dirty object. Joe Mudden's a dirty object, right? They all diesel team, don't get me wrong, and they playing the dirty objects, they're playing everything under the radar, and they're playing every single game and trying to frame every of my Steam team members, and they cannot. Why? We're always ending up clearing ourselves up. We make sure the timeline is corrected, right? So you can even have a better future. But how can we do it if I'm not on a platform? What happens if the Norfolk Railway said, "You're not allowed on here because we're told by the management"? The management are below me. I'm above them. What's the difference? Big, big difference, right? The management up here don't know that they are here. I'm up here. I stay put. Why? Let me give you an example, right? The North Norfolk Railway will not open doors anymore because they're closing down. Why? Because they make a big mistake. Judgment error. So that judgment error is on their heads. Me just waiting for them to drop. Once they realise they've done something wrong, then they will cry wolf and ask me and say we will give you, let's say, a recorrection and solve all this matter and redo this. They're not bothered to do that because they're sweeping it under the carpet. Every time they sweep it, I ending up clearing it. Why? Because it's nothing to do with me. But they're making it my problem because I'm their boss. Right? I have to make sure They don't screw up. I have to make sure my steam team is really useful. I have to make the diesel team, right, as they do, really useful from a different angle. They're going to go to Peterborough, right, because the diesel works. That's their territory, right? They're going to wake up and smell that damn coffee, and they're going to end up screwing themselves over because they feel like we lost the bloody, the Norfolk Railway, and they're going to moan and groan and groan and groan and groan. And what will happen is the diesel teams will end up falling apart and die, right? Because you have to be realistic. You know, they're not going to live forever either. But their mistakes are all slipping up so bloody badly that I'm trying to keep at their pace to try and say, look, steamies are better. Steamies are better. Always have been. We've been really useful since 1958 and above. Work it out. Go forward. Right? Every time there's a 40-year gap in every of my family member. Yeah, well, people thought it was 20, 30. I said, no, it's 40. So every one of us has to fight back, re-correct the problems, solve the mystery, and get it out of the way. Once it's done, it goes down to the next generation to solve it. Why? Because they have to re-correct their little timeline bit. Each bit you watch, you're watching what was meant to unfold every fucking damn day. Right? Most of it you can acknowledge that I have connections and colleagues and my family and my friends and so forth, and even my wife that's coming to be. And you got to acknowledge that you can't screw that up. If you screw that up, that's it. You put yourself on a game over game, which you don't want. Nor does the world, right? We know what that game over is. We don't want it, nor does my mother, right? So we are working overtime just to keep you all bloody happy, but you got to work out the diesel team fucked everyone over. 1,000 people can't be done by me. I'm innocent. So when you think the police know it all, I said, watch their timeline in their reverse. You will end up watching the bill in reverse. So everything that's happening right now is all happening all in truth. The bill is getting all the anagrams coming through their heads and they're doing their work, right? Nothing evolves around me with them unless there's a bigger problem. But there wasn't. There was a small, tiny problem that became bigger because a diesel team made it big. Work it out. If there was a big problem now, when it was only a small problem to begin with, why did they expand it so much? Right? Let me give you an idea that will give you an understanding, right? There are a lot of the diesel team that fucked up so bloody badly they don't know which way to turn, right? Hugh Harkett allowed this to go on and on and on and on and on until he fucking dies, right? He's gonna fucking put himself in a situation where he can't get out of this situation. You need to work out why is my grandfather involved? Why is my father involved? Why am I involved? Why? Because we're here to clear up that garbage. Right? We don't normally call it garbage, but we call it that we do not allow that type of behaviour on a train station or the railway line or the end or the station itself, right? You have to be realistic and say, look, right, the management of today, and it doesn't matter if it's the the Greater Anglia or any other type of department, they all fucked up. What did I say? I warned you that history has a habit of repeating itself without you acknowledging it. Right? You're gonna see it unfold, and some people are gonna have to correct these problems. Sometimes I'm not gonna do this on my own, on my life, right? Because it takes a lot of strain out of me. But you got to be realistic to help me. You're not gonna be sitting on your pretty fat ass and do nothing. No, 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 no. You can do it any directional form, right? Verbally, physically, telling me directly is better than nothing. And acknowledge it, let it unfold naturally and let it play out. That's probably the first thing that comes out of people's mouths. Let it play out until they drop. Right? The diesel team will end up dying. The management will be gone because they can't run without me at my side. They will say, "We're not going to take orders from this guy. We think he's a load of joke." I said, "No, I'm not. You have done your calculations. You know, all the maths work, all the schools are all fucked up on this. Did you know that schools were fucking helping me? Oh, it's the truth. Why do you think I know a lot of people? Connections, people, friends, family, colleagues, all of it, all in one bucket. Why? Why? I'll tell you now. I'll be honest with you. When I was at school and college and all that, oh yeah, I stood up for a lot of people. But then you got to work out the little clip in this. It's all in here. Why? Because it's unfolding in front of your eyes, and then you start asking questions. The questions you want answering. It's like a simplified question. Why is Boko come in? Ding ding, and there's no fat man on the platform. Why? Because Who Harkit and all the diesel team don't give a fuck. They simplified fuck. Right? We all know they all fucked up. Right? We all acknowledge that they screwed up here and there. But you got to be realistic. Why? The diesel team don't care about you. The management don't care about you. What are you going to do? Go on a bus and travel anywhere you want. Go on Bertie because he's a friend of a family and bang. Why? Private connection and all. Why? Boom, boom. Why? Because I will tell you to go on the 44 or a 44X or whatever you call it on Saunders these days. You got to realise it's the modern day era for it, but the story's still told the same. So realistically, it's the same lot of problems in a lot of ways. But then you're ending up with one big solution. Ding ding, get me back on the platform. Recorrect me before it gets even deeper, 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 deeper shit of trouble. But you don't want. You want to get that out of the misery. And I tell you now, you do not want to see the bad side of the whole fucking franchise. I'm telling you now, I'm trying to help you, guide you, clear your heads to realise there's a bigger problem coming our way and we don't need it. Right? You don't want to screw up this time round. Why? Because it's free. But there's actually five members of the Hats. Why? My son Richard and my granddaughter Emily. So four and five. Ding, ding, ding. But you have to work out why. You have to work out why is two more extras. Think about it. Like I said in the other day, Richard comes first after me. Then it'll be Emily, Helen, Hat. But you need to work out, does the diesel team care? No. They like to. I hate to be rude, but it's really like out of order to a point. Diesel team don't give a shit, right? They're gonna fall back on something they regretted, right? They're repeating the same bloody mistakes like they did the last two times. And they're gonna end up, you're gonna end up crying wolf on me because you want to go back on there. I said, don't go on there while that's happening. When it's unfolding in front of your eyes, let the damage be done first. Then I'm up there to clear it up. Why? Because they didn't even expect or how much I care about it. Now they're gonna wake up and smell that damn coffee. When they do, they will eventually unfold what was meant to be. And then they will leave the management. The management will leave. They will go bye bye, slowly, slowly, and then the Who Arket and the rest of the other gang will be gone. Why? Then the third gen comes in. Then you have me on top. Why? The old brings in the new. Sometimes you might get the new while mixing with the old. But you have to say, Edward stated, the oldest and the wisest helps us all. Why? except the diesel team doesn't get that support. Why? Because Edward supports the steam team. Just work it out. Like I said, I know connections that you don't. So work it out. You got the oldest and the wisest, and myself included, and then Henry, Gordon, and James, Percy, Toby, and Duck, Donald and Douglas, Oliver, Emily, and then you got basically Rosie, Rebecca, Nia, Gina on top. Then everything adds up. Then you're adding up the last pieces, right? You got to work out how where does my adult half of my story fit in all of it. The missing link is through Wild Norwest's timeline, right on the schedule, right? In the day, history will recorrect it. Because at the moment, the future for the railway of the North Norfolk Railway is closing down. Because it has to close down to recorrect things. So they have to close down. If they don't close down, or today or tomorrow, vice versa, and they continue and continue, then they're screwing up everything that's supposed to unfold correctly. Thank you very much. In any angle.